Okay, over to you, Andrew.
Yeah, okay, very good. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. And thanks to the PIG for giving us the opportunity to introduce ourselves to various different members. So this afternoon's presentation is really about who Buckhurst Rehabilitation are and what we do. It's how we undertake cleaning and lining of a range of assets with Ultracoat Epoxy Resin. We focus on the need to rehabilitate aging assets in a cost-effective way, giving a long-term solution to these perennial problems. Firstly, with an introduction to the company, followed by a recent case study from start to finish. And this illustrates our approach to this kind of project work. And it also includes a little bit of technical information regarding the benefits of Ultracoat Epoxy Resin, and that's for the rehabilitation of man-entry and non-man-entry assets. The presentation is designed to introduce Ultracoat Epoxy Resin as a solution to newer water industry delegates and to reintroduce it to the more experienced. We're wastewater approved in the UK with WIS and IGN accreditations and can count a number of water companies and their tier 1 and tier 2 contractors amongst our clients. Right, we'll start with the, got it. So, Buckhurst Rehabilitation Division was formed after Buckhurst Plant Hire acquired Langho Roach Select Lining Division about 8 or 9 years ago. They quickly developed a working relationship with Warren Environmental in the States. Warren manufacture the epoxy resin, that's the Ultracoat, and Buckhurst manufacture the spin casting rigs for use globally and the hand spray rigs for use in the UK and Europe. Due to the excellent relationship and reciprocal commitment that they enjoyed, Buckhurst then became the sole stockist and distributor of Warren epoxy resin systems for the UK and Europe. I think we're all facing various different increasing challenges on various fronts at the moment. Climate change, population increases, new home building. For instance, the population is set to increase by between 2.7 million and 9.6 million by 2040, and also aging assets. So we've got in the country at the moment 340,000 kilometres of water mains and 543,000 kilometres of sewers. The cost of replacing the water mains would be £100 billion at today's costs. The cost of replacing the sewer system would be 400 to 600 billion pounds. So to put that in perspective, the total spend from 1990 to 2015 was 130 billion. So what we want to do is offer innovative renovation systems in real time, giving vital extra life to infrastructure assets. So what is Ultracoat? It's a 100% solid two-part structural epoxy resin coating system. It's solvent-free, VOC-free, styrene-free, isocyanate-free. It's highly chemically resistant, highly corrosion resistant, highly abrasion resistant. It's effective in the full pH range and it's waterproof. So what does it do? It rehabilitates, protects and preserves assets. There's no costly drying procedure needed. We can line pipe from 10 centimetres upwards. Other assets include manholes, sewers, culverts, bunds, tanks, tunnels, any concrete structure. If we can get at it, we can rehabilitate it. What this is showing is a test that they did in America, which added some structural strength to a pipe. So what we want to do is create products that are stronger, enhance the physical condition of the host structure, and it provides a useful, cost-effective service for many years after the application. You can add extra structural strength by embedding e-glass or carbon fibre to it. That's a photograph showing you at microscopic level how the epoxy bonds to concrete. So you can see it merges into the concrete, giving it that extra strength. And what it does is it shows you that basically what the test that they did in the past in the States was when they did a pull test, the actual concrete breaks before the bond breaks of the epoxy resin, just showing you its strength really. This is a short video showing you our spin casting rig in action. So I don't know if there's any sound on this particular one. But before coating, surfaces must be thoroughly cleaned, as advised by our senior engineer, Mark Arnold. The spin cast application, we can put, the pipes are from 10 centimetres up to 1.5 metres, and we can apply 10 millimetres in a single coat with computer precision. So that's what that's doing at the moment. I think that's putting probably 3 millimetres on. The hand spray application, that's ideal for any man entry assets, any size, any shape. We can put up to 20 mil in a single coating. On a horizontal pass and 10 mil on a vertical pass without slumping. Other methods such as hand troweling can be used in certain specific circumstances. So as you can see, it's showing the control panel on the rig there, and it's just showing you how the system works really, with the monitoring alarm and whatnot. So it'll shut down instantly if the limits are exceeded or it's not performing the way it should be. So what are the benefits of Ultracoat? Well, it rehabilitates, repairs and permanently protects. It's got excellent adhesion to wet as well as dry surfaces. Some systems can only be used on dry surfaces, so obviously underground assets, how do you ever get them snuff dry? I'm not sure, but this is absolutely fine. The pictures on the right there are part of the case study shown later on in the second half of the presentation, and you just can't get it as dry as you would like, really. So it doesn't really matter with our product because it will stick to damp surfaces. It structurally reinforces. It's a one coat system, so that saves you money. So you don't need to do it like some systems you can only put 3 mil on. So you've got to do that. For instance, the steel armcore section on this we did at 14 mil. You'd have had to do that 5 times with a polyurea. So there's no primer needed. So it's a high build system. Solvent VOC free, thinners free, and it's an airless application. So it mitigates occupational and public health concerns. So it's ideal for confined space usage, and it's given a 75-year design life. That's a bit of standards and technical information. So you can see that it's got some bond strength there, flexural modulus, tensile strength, so various different standards and technical that it needs to, that it achieves. Rehabilitation versus replacement. Rehabilitation is normally about 25% of the cost of replacement, and it avoids costly disruptions such as traffic management, reducing the whole life cost of the asset and providing the all essential peace of mind. So that's a manhole that we did in Newcastle. That was the before. What they were doing there, it's a new housing estate, and they wanted to coat the biscuit and the manhole before it actually got any damage to it, so giving the extra 75 years from day one. That's a manhole repair. We rebuilt portions of a severely deteriorated brick manhole. Numerous leaks were mitigated before the manhole was lined with the Ultracoat epoxy coating system. Performance parameters and conclusions. Ultracoat's been tested and fully accredited with independent reports concluding its superb performance in extreme conditions of many kinds. Performance in corrosive environments, under temperature extremes, and under prolonged contact with acidic or alkaline chemicals, fuels, frost and salt water. The WIS number is 40204 and the IGN is 40205. It's resistant to pH 2 to 14, S2O and H2S. There are a few of the customers that we've worked with in the past, so I'm sure you recognise some of those, and we hope to work with them again in the future. So the next bit of the presentation, if you'll excuse me for a second, my notes wouldn't show on screen, so I've got my notes on my phone. So we'll go into the case study, which was the Woodsgate Park culvert in Bexhill-on-Sea. This is a video showing the way the
culvert down there,
the site was set up.
Main pump's going.
I'll shut up for a minute and let myself talk.
That's generator for the pump. The flats there.
That's just showing the site really. Our first meeting was with Buckhurst and JBA Consultants. They did the design work. That was in July 2020. The Environment Agency were the client for this project, and the rehabilitation work was deemed necessary and urgent due to the deterioration of the culvert. Also, a residence garden was subsiding towards the culvert.
Which will eventually go down there.
That was
the jetter is.
The hand spray rig in the corner. We're going to put it there where the jetter is, as and when the bog mats were placed.
But the drums across there. Yeah, it's looking good. But pumping's working. All good for now. That's the site as it is.
All the original prep work and fences were all put up by Buckhurst. They did that side of the job and got us into to do the culvert basically. So as you can see, it's quite a confined space just to get down to it.
Without having to go through the culvert to get to the other end, they're just digging out some silt at the bottom. There's a bit of a belly with some water in it to get rid of, and then you can finish the cleaning. Bog mats, as you can see, are not here yet. So we're 6 days into the job, still not come. Supposed to be coming tomorrow morning, so hopefully that's the start of the job for real then, where we can finish off the cleaning, make sure we start at the far end of the spraying, so it should be good. So the sites, that's the culvert down
this
there.
again, it's
main pump's going.
There were all kinds of things that were difficult at the time. If you go back 12 months, we couldn't get all the bog mats, or Buckhurst couldn't get all the bog mats, and the overpumping pipes as well. So it was working day 7 that the bog mats were actually delivered and put in place.
That's the container with the resin in.
So that's their bog mats being placed. I loved that part of the job. I wanted his job sat on the crane. That was a fantastic job. So, following the placement of the bog mats, our first task was to clear the culvert and removing the silt and debris. So, the guys were absolutely delighted to have me stood there with a camera taking pictures of them doing all the hard work. But this kind of showed the difference between when we first went to have a look at it in the July, everything was dry as a bone. And of course, we get back there in the end of October, and it's been raining for 3 months, and it was just really different scenario to what we expected. So the initial discussions revolved around how much of the culvert needed to be coated. On inspection by everybody, it was agreed that the whole culvert needed lining to give the best results regarding the arresting deterioration, extending the life of the culvert, and addressing the loadings needed. And the more urgent issue, of course, of the garden subsiding into the steel armcore section of the culvert. The initial loadings that the designers used for this culvert was 40 kN per square metre for the armcore section and 50 kN per square metre for the brick section. That was under the road and the bridge. As you can see from the video, work to get the culvert in a position where we could clean and started with clearing the silt. So this one shows the initial stages of the overpumping. So it's really just to show you, give you a clue as to the practical nature of everything on this one. We're digging a sump. You can see on the top right hand side of the slide there, there's a land drain which we're now piping into a bulky dam to get all the water away from the culvert so that we can keep it as dry as possible whilst we're coating. So part of this process was to dig a sump and put a submersible pump to pump water back above the dam.
The big pump where it's sucking leaves in. It's going to be left running overnight, so we'll see what happens with that through the day to day. Again, they were delighted at me stood above them, doing all the hard work, taking pictures of all this. So on overpumping, we used a heavy-duty polythene to protect the pipe from the resin while spraying. That was obviously keep the pipe so they could use it again. We also made good any repairs needed, such as filling the holes and the joins in the corrugated section. So that's showing young Tom there just doing a bit of repair work. It was a 50-year design life was required, for which the Ultracoat is recommended. Part of the appeal of our system is that it mitigates the need for road closures. We could operate from the grass verge that you're just seeing there next to the flats. So we sprayed the entire circumference of the culvert to achieve the required load-bearing figures. Now, the steel armcore section was sprayed at 14 millimetres thick, and the brick section at 6 millimetres thick to achieve those figures. Upon completion, we demobbed and to allow Buckhurst to get their demob sorted as well. So this shows it's a very short one. This showing jetting of the result of the jetting of the culvert. The flow, it's a lot stronger than it was when we first came on in July. Done a bit of jet spraying of that crack. They wanted to mortar that up, and then that's the first bit of jet spraying in the culvert. You can see the difference where he's sprayed, where he hasn't, on both sides. Just run out of water for the minute. We're going to fill back up and start again. The jetting was at 5,000 psi, so it won't quite take your skin off, but it won't be far off. So you can see it cleans, it does a really good deep clean, which is what you need. when you're coating it with anything. So that's that one. So the steel arm core section, after the over pumping, the pipes had been situated. So we submitted full RAMs, provided evidence of staff training with compliance and confined space training, and we were given 2 weeks in which to mobilise. We needed the following equipment to complete the works. So we needed the hand spraying rig, which you can see was on a 7-ton truck. We needed 5 kits of resin, a container to house the resin on the site, a compressor, a generator, a telehandler to move the kits around, a jet sprayer, a large water pump, submersible water pump, and a number of ancillaries, including some acid for cleaning as well. So that was the very start of the spraying process at the steel arm core section. And that shows it, the steel arm core section at the point of the manhole chamber following the lining. So part of the process is to heat the Ultracoat up to 65 degrees in order to spray it, and obviously planning to have enough resin to spray for the full day. That shows the brick section before lining. So on arrival, we were faced with a number of challenges, including the over pumping, because that hadn't been put in place, which initially it was supposed to have been. And it had also been underestimated due to the inclement weather. So that led to a request from Volker to say, well, can you do the over pumping for us? So we ran it through the culvert. The layout of the land around the culvert, it just wouldn't have been possible to over pump around it. It would have been too onerous. That shows the brick section after lining. We'd cut woods to length to lay the pipe on through the culvert, so that when we were spraying, we could continue and spray the whole culvert without having to return at the end of the process to do the bits that we might have missed. That's a video showing the actual hand spraying. That's Mark Arnold, our senior engineer. He came up with all the ideas to help the project work. When we originally turned up, we had a water bowser and a 1-ton bin for the water to clean the culvert. But that was clear after about 5 minutes that was never going to be enough. So we put a system in where we were pumping the water from the river up to the jetter and back down to clean the culvert. So that was a real joy to watch that. It was really good. Performance parameters and conclusions. It's been tested and fully accredited with independent reports concluding its performance in extreme conditions of many kinds. It performs in corrosive environments, under temperature extremes, under prolonged contact with acidic or alkaline chemicals, fuels, frost and salt water. That one, hang on, just go back to that one. That's what we did at the end of the culvert. We masked around and just coated one layer of bricks just to give it what looked like a finish, really. So the brick section was 32 metres long. Then you had the manhole chamber, and the steel arm core section was 43 metres long. And that concludes the presentation. So thank you very much indeed for attending, and hopefully that made sense. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate.
Andrew, thanks for that. You do have a couple of questions that have gone into the chat function.
Right.
So I don't know whether is Mark available?
Or... He's not here, but if I can answer him, I will.
Okay. So the first one is if you have to stop, how do you start up again without having to spot with thinner of a thicker layer?
Well, basically, what he does when he's stopping, he grades it down so that it goes down. So he'll go from 6 mil down to 1 mil, so that when he starts up again, in fact, practically what he did was he went to where he'd started the day before to see if there were any holidays in there, if we'd missed anything, that he could fill any bits that weren't fully coated, and then he would start again, probably 2 or 3 feet before where he ended, as he was grading it down.
Okay, thank you. Then we have Ultracoat suitable for sewage applications only.
Well, it's not potable water approved is the thing. So it's suitable for any wastewater assets.
Okay. What independent fitness for purpose tests are completed?
That's a good question. I think they've all been done so far in the States. I think there was a. This is before my time. I joined the company last year, and I think they've done some testing with the WRC. I think they had a look at a potable water product at some stage before, but I don't think any's been done in the UK so far.
Okay. The next question, does the colour of the coating fade over time?
It shouldn't do, no. It's such a strong formulation that it might just fade a little bit, but it starts off as cream and it's like a ceramic finish, it's like a shiny ceramic finish, so it does help with flow characteristics, and it may well be affected by the sun if it ever gets to it, but other than that, it's mainly an underground asset, so there's no reason for the colour to change.
Okay. I have another question from Trevor. How do site staff know that required thickness is achieved?
He's got a comb that he uses, and he every 2 or 3 feet he makes sure he's got the right depth.
Okay.
So it's just a little practical measuring tool. If it's spin cast, that's computer driven, so that's automatic. It gets the right amount on, otherwise the machine stops.
Okay, and then the last question I have at the moment is any third-party certifications?
I'm not sure I understand the question. A third party as in?
I'm just reading what.
Oh, right,
third
third-party certification.
Yeah.
To be honest, not sure. Mark might have known that, but I don't know. Not sure.
Okay. There's is Ultracoat owned by you, or do you have do your competitors have a similar process?
No, Ultracoats, it's a specifically designed product by Danny Warren in the States. He developed it, I think in the 90s. He used to work for Anheuser-Busch, and he developed it for beer tank linings and waste pipe linings, and went on after that. After he'd done all his work at Anheuser-Busch, he moved away and started to look at manholes. So nobody else has this product in the UK or Europe. It's only through Buckhurst.
Okay. If Richard is on the line and he wants to unmute himself and kind of give more clarification about what he means by his question,
yes,
you can do that.
Absolutely fine.
Otherwise, Richard, if you send something to
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to mean third-party certifications. Have you actually had it independently certified, tested, to demonstrate that it's fit for purpose?
That's been done in the States. I can get you copies of that from the States. I'm not sure it's been done in the UK.
Okay, and anything in Germany? Has it been put through DIBT testing in Germany?
I think it has. I'm sure I saw something online during lockdown where it had been tested in Germany along with 6 or 7 other products, not all epoxies, various different lining systems.
Okay.
And it did come out, I think it came out kind of reasonably well from what I remember.
Okay, it'd be good if you've got anything like that to share.
Yeah, there is something available on that. I'll see if I can dig that out.
Cool.
Okay, well, Richard, what I can do is I can get Andrew to send that to me, and then
Yeah.
I can send it out to everybody that's registered for this event so that you've all got that, so that will answer your question.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, fantastic. So I believe now, Andrew, you have answered all of your questions. So
Right.
well done for that. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you for Andrew for putting in the time to do the presentation. I know this was your first one for the Pipeline Industries Guild, so thank you for that.
Thanks for the opportunity.
That's all right, no worries. If any of you guys on the call would like to know more about the Guild or know about future webinars that are taking place, you can go onto our Guild website, pipeguild.com, and a list of all of our events that are taking place are on there. We have our first face-to-face event that's going to be taking place in Bath. So if you're in the area, we have the CE of Wessex Water, Colin Skellett, speaking for us ahead of the Wales and West dinner, the Prestige lecture. So to attend to hear Colin speak is free. So hopefully we'll be able to see you face to face. It'll be good to see you face to face rather than on a Zoom call. But yeah, have a look at our website, and if you've got any queries, then come back to us. And Richard, I will get you the information that you wanted from Andrew. So again, thank you everybody for joining us.
Yep, thank you very much everybody for attending.
Thank you.